to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the War Room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
We are back. It is Easter morning, and we should be with our families, but instead we're tucked away in the war room because the podcast is so dang important to us. We are tucked away in the war room here in the west end of the Magic Valley, hiding from all the chocolate, all the candy, all the sugar-hyped kids, and kind of getting out of church today. So, hey, that works for me. Nothing against church if you're a good churchgoer. I went last night.
Oh, there you go.
So we're here. We are bringing you episode number 489.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, you know how good I am at keeping track of episodes. So
489 sounds good.
40, and Mark is filling in for Dean today. In fact, Mark, you may become more of a. I may have you here a lot more often. It's fun to have you here.
Yeah, I like being here. It's kind of gets me out of my norm of just going home and doing nothing
and chilling. Hey, you're more than welcome here. I got a range now. The weather's getting nice. We can shoot and we can podcast. That'll make for a great weekend. And Dean, he is off helping a brother-in-law move or some crap. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So yeah, it sounds like he's doing what his wife told him to do.
Yeah,
I hope she never listens to this podcast, or he's going to be in a lot of trouble. But anyhow, you're filling in. I like that. Thanks for filling in. I think as a panicky message to you, no one's coming. Come help.
Yeah, no problem.
So, you worked yesterday, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you have any adventures at the gun counter?
Just a lot of the. Well, actually, it started off really slow yesterday, and then about 2:30, and I don't know why 2:30 hit, but we just went nuts on guns yesterday at 2:30.
The magic hour.
Yeah.
Maybe people got some money in the Easter eggs or
that
something.
Could be, yeah.
Or maybe people are starting to get their tax money back.
Well, it's that, and I'm sure there was probably some Easter egg hunts going on yesterday. I know there was a couple of churches in Filer that were doing it, but
so drop the kids off, and while they're hunting Easter eggs, you go look for
a new hunting rifle. Yeah,
there you go. Well, and you got to think everything's greening up. I mowed my lawn yesterday, so I don't know. Depending on where you're listening from, the big thing right now is rock chucks are out and about big time. In fact, I would imagine their babies will start popping out here sooner or later.
Yeah, the babies will be coming out. There's some big ones out there, though. And I see them, and they're always in the place that you just don't want to take a rifle and start shooting them because they're like right off the side of the highway or something.
That's why they're big. They know where to live.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think in the next couple of weeks, the babies will pop out. And when the babies are running around, then you can go ahead and shoot. And then that leaves us a nice crop for next year.
Yeah, there you go.
So selling lots of rifles and lots of varmint ammo, I would imagine.
Yeah, ammo is just going like wildfire right now.
Well, I ordered, and I'm supposed to test fire it, and I haven't test fired it yet. I know we have some listeners that are waiting for me to test fire my octane ammo that I got, but it showed up on, I believe it was Thursday, and I got like 5,000 rounds, and then I was telling someone about, hey, you need to order you need to order some ammo from Octane. They got really good prices. I think we figured it out the other day, and their price had actually gone up a little bit. It was still coming out up about I think
it was 15 cents.
15 cents a round for remanned 115 grain 9mm, which is a fantastic price.
Yeah.
And but I knew I had a feeling I should order this a while back, and so I did. And now they're all out of stock. So I either ran them out of stock or just everything's been going on in the world lately.
Yeah, and you got it.
People are starting to buy ammo. I did check Freedom Munitions, and they do have some available, for a higher price. Mm-hmm. And then, go down and hit your local stores up. Hit your local guys. Hit D&B Supply. That's where Mark works. Hit your local gun stores. Keep them in business. Support them. So, everyone's going to run and buy it online. So hit the local guys up. I'm sure you guys can still get plenty of ammo down there.
We can try.
Can try.
Yeah.
No promises.
Yeah. Huh? We still have our warehouse up in Caldwell that we can, pull from if they have a bunch in there. So usually they do have a bunch. So
well, that's good. So we had, it turned out to be a pretty nice day yesterday. A little breezy, but not horrible.
Yeah, not too bad.
I had what we called Ladies' Day on the Range yesterday here at my house. It was for Glennie de Zijderveld. She's running for Idaho State Representative, and so she wanted to do a thing, how to empower women and get them, teach them, how they could defend themselves. And so we had a quick deal. We talked. I gave a little PowerPoint presentation. We talked about situational awareness and some stuff for them to think about. And she brought some sandwiches and whatnot. And then we took whoever wanted to, if they brought their own firearms, so they could use ours. We took them out on the range. I think each gal shot about 25 rounds or so, and it was a great day for that. And we had about, we had nine ladies show up, which we would love to have seen more, but that's more shooting for them.
Yeah. And
this one lady showed up, and she brought her 9-year-old daughter. And that just made my day. She had never really shot a firearm before at all, this little girl. So I busted out my my kid's little .22 Cricket, and I've got some pictures and stuff, and I posted them last night on Facebook with her permission, obviously.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And
she's shooting out. She put one round, one round at a time. It's a single shot. So she's a pretty tall 9-year-old, but she still holding the 22, even though it's a real short one. She just wasn't able to do it. It's a little heavy for her.
Yeah.
And so we tried to support her up on the table the best we could. So she, in the picture, she was kind of squatting down a little bit to shoot this thing. But man, she loved it. She took one shot, and I was like, she was a pretty quiet little girl. Took one shot, and I was like, you want another one? Yeah, I want to do another one. And so she shot about half dozen, I don't know, something, not a lot, but yeah. She loved it. In fact, her mom was checking it out. I think she might be going and getting a little Cricket 22 for her daughter, but I love to see that, man.
Good
kids
deal,
it's so fun to introduce kids to shooting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you've done it with your kiddos, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, my son still tries to hold. We were out trying to shoot an orange, and it was just some orange that we just, I don't know, it was kind of rotten and stuff. So kind of threw it out there, and I told him shoot it, and he drilled it the first shot, and then I went to try and shoot what was left of it, and I couldn't hit it at all. So
yeah, those kids, they're so easy because they have no bad habits.
Yeah.
The hardest part with teaching a kid how to shoot a firearm, though, in my mind, is you could draw a picture, you can show them everything, is teaching them how to use those iron sights.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't get into their head and see what they're seeing.
Right.
You don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah.
And the Cricket is a little different because it's got a little peep sight.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a little while to explain to her that she needed to look through the peep sight, put the front sight, which is pretty much just a little triangle on those things, and look at the front of the tip top of that triangle and put it on the target where she wanted to hit. And once she figured that out, she was actually pretty good. She kept a little tight little group and fantastic. She had a lot of fun and
good deal.
Yeah, so maybe who knows? Maybe in 10 years she'll come back and get her concealed carry permit from me.
There you go.
If I'm still, I might be old and out there in a walker by then. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. My buddy brought his Smith & Wesson 380 EZ, and they shot the heck out of that. A lot of women did. I'm going to tell you, we should have got D&B Supply over here with a pile of them. And you guys probably could have sold a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And that would have gotten you out of the store, man.
That's true.
Gone on a field trip. Would they let you? Would they let you sell guns off site like that?
Well, there's the option to do so, but I don't think they want to.
Oh, come on, I could sell guns for them.
Yeah, I know.
Too bad you didn't get paid commission.
Yeah,
that's
true.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, that would be good.
So you still have your 380 EZ over there, though?
Yep, we still have one in stock. So far,
hasn't sold yet.
No, yeah, I've showed it to a bunch of people, and nobody's,
they're waiting for their tax money.
Nobody's biting on it. So.
They're not as excited about it as I am.
Yeah,
I actually had some women yesterday. We were talking about that exact firearm, and I've said on the past shows, man, if they brought this out in color options. That it would sell like crazy. It'd probably beat the sky. Those SCCYs.
Yeah.
And it outsell them. And there's a lady here that had a purple SCCY.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, that's kind of why I bought this, is because it was a purple.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, Smith & Wesson, they need to start coming out with colored frames. Maybe that'll be the next year's release.
I'm sure they're in the works probably.
They have to be. So. That would be a huge marketing move for them. But even though she had one of those purple SCCYs, I haven't seen anyone shoot it as good as she did.
Oh, well.
She shot the heck out of it.
That's the thing is I've shot one of those, and I actually was fairly accurate with it.
Right.
I hated the recoil, and I hated the trigger, but, as far as accuracy, I was hitting what I was aiming at.
Oh, yeah,
so.
and they're accurate. But, I mean, she She didn't have any qualms with shooting it. And most nothing against women. Some women will pick it up because it is a pretty harsh little gun.
Yeah.
And they'll start shooting it, and they'll look at me like, I have to do how many more rounds?
Right.
She just kept loading and shooting.
Wow.
I was like, wow, I don't even know if I could have kept shooting it that much.
Yeah, it actually hurt my hand to shoot.
I think she came up to the table like 3 different times and just kept loading and shooting.
Dang.
So yeah, she was pretty tough. I was surprised. But do you get a lot of women in there buying guns? Speaking of ladies, do you get a lot of them in there purchasing firearms for self-defense?
A lot of them come in and look, and then a few of them buy. What we normally encounter is the boyfriend dragging their girlfriend in there, or husband or wife, whatever. They drag them in there and they kind of like, here, feel this, and you can tell that the girl's not really comfortable, or the lady's not really comfortable with it. She's just kind of, why are you doing this type thing? And you get,
why are you doing this to me?
Well, you really can see that on their face. You can see that expression on their face, and they just, they're almost just to the point where they don't want to be there. And, it's the ones that come in on their own that really, they know what they want.
They're coming in on their own accord. See, I find, and I'm not trying to interrupt, but I find like if my wife wants to go buy, and I'm not even talking firearms.
Mm-hmm.
If she wants to go buy something, she'll spend weeks just like researching stuff and looking at it and shopping around. Women are good at shopping. But she'll spend all this time and effort, studying on it and researching it and figuring out what she wants.
Yeah.
And then she'll go and buy it. So I think they've got to come in and do it on their own accord.
Right.
And when they do, they will educate themselves on it, and they will know what they're after, and pick up the lingo and stuff. It's the ones where the boyfriends and the husbands are forcing them to come in and get something. My wife didn't always, and I'm going to get her. Actually, we talked about getting her on the podcast. We were going to do it today, but we might do it in the near future. She has a couple guns. Mm-hmm. She has her permit, but she doesn't carry. But it took her a while she's not anti-gun, but it took her a while just to get used to it.
Yeah.
And I could never take her out to the gun stores and say, let's go find you a gun. She had to do it on her own. So one day she followed me to the gun show. She says, I said, let's go to the gun show. And she goes, okay, I'll come with you, whatever. And we walked through this smelly old, nasty old, dirty old gun show. You know how the gun shows are. I'm not classifying gun shows like that as a whole, but the ones around here are just...
Oh, yeah.
They're kind of miserable.
You can smell the age on it.
Yeah. And we're walking through there, and it's crowded. And next thing I know, she's checking out firearms. And we didn't buy one there, but she started. I could see it kind of piqued her interest a little bit. Mm-hmm. So we left there. Next thing I know, we drove into town, and she bought one at one of the other stores. Well, so it just has to be on their own doing.
Right.
I mean that and it's I guess it's the same way with me. I don't like to go shopping. I don't like to go grocery shopping. I don't like to go shop for my clothes. I'm wearing clothes today that don't fit me just because I'm too lazy to go buy new clothes. My wife can never take me to buy clothes, but the day that I look in the mirror and go, man, Todd, you need some new freaking clothes, then I'll go get them and I'm done. So I guess that's the same way with women. Mm-hmm. So that's the way to do it. Do you find that there's more and more women coming in though?
I think so. Yeah. Well, for the longest time, it used to just be the norm that it was the guy dragging the gal in, and but now it's like, we get just a random woman just walks up to the counter, and just says, I'm interested in, whatever she, wherever she tells us, but, and that really, to me, that stands out more than any other customer, because that's not normal. And so I'll take the time and I will, help them find exactly what they're looking for, something that fits them and feels good. And there goes my gunshot. But yeah, there's just something different about it. Just a lady coming in and wanting something.
What do you think's driving them to come in? Do you think it's the whole what's going on in the world type of thing, more and more crimes, or do you think they're they're coming in and they just want to be more empowered, a mix of both? I mean, what
think
do they tell you, or do they even tell you? Do you ask them why they're in there?
They don't. No, I really don't.
You probably really can't, I guess.
And I think it's a mixture of a few things. I think that they.
Mark's going to shut his phone off.
Shut my phone off here.
Mute his phone. I just think with the way that the world is, I don't want to use the word politically, but the way that what's going on in the world, the shootings, the people having to take care of I was telling these women yesterday, they come in, I was like, there's nothing wrong with law enforcement, but you are the first responders.
Yeah.
Even the dads can be with the families, but the dads are at work, the dads are doing this, the dads are doing that. I mean, the women typically, not all the women, but typically, if they have kids, they are with their kids. They're making their kids lunch. They're taking their kids grocery shopping. They're picking them up from school. They're taking them to dance recitals, ballet recitals. They're taking them to soccer and baseball and t-ball and all that stuff. And yeah, the dad's there for some of that, but typically the kids spend 90% of the day with the mom.
Right.
And so she is, to a certain extent, she is the first responder.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, she the first responder is protecting them, but she's also the one that's going to, possibly call law enforcement if that needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But she's the only one that's going to be there between the time law enforcement is called and the time law enforcement shows up.
Right.
And it just makes me happy to see that more of these women are wanting to actually take that role almost a little more seriously and see what kind of tools are out there for them to be able to use to do their job. In this case being a firearm or learning self-defense or getting their concealed carry permit, or at the very least, not even getting their concealed carry permit, but coming out to this ladies' day at the range and just being open-minded, reviewing the options. What is my options? What's this? Let's learn a little more about this.
Right. Yeah.
And then the fact that this lady brought her 9-year-old daughter was really cool. And you shut your phone off and I stomped all over your story there.
Oh, that's.
But she was telling me, I heard her talking to another lady that she was driving her 9-year-old daughter to the range today yesterday. She was telling her, she was talking to her about firearms and how firearms aren't bad. And they're only bad in the hands of bad people, meaning to do bad things.
Right.
And she was having that conversation with her 9-year-old daughter.
Right.
Which is something we need to do. She's empowering herself. She's helping empower her 9-year-old daughter.
Yeah, that's great.
And not even a daughter, just kids, period, having that conversation with the children.
Right.
So they may grow up and they may be anti-gun. They may grow up and they may be for guns. They may grow up and they may not care one way or the other. But you have to have experienced something before you choose to be against it.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, totally.
And there's too many of them that are just one-sided, and the school system gets a hold of them, the media gets a hold of them, and the next thing you know, you get in trouble for chewing a Pop-Tart into the shape of a freaking gun.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So
I get after my daughter, because I'm not trying to bash on the schools at all. It's just she comes home and sometimes blurts something out and I'm just like, where did you hear that,
Yeah.
And obviously it was at school. And, I have to sit there and I don't get mad at her. I just kind of correct her and say, this isn't true. This stuff doesn't happen like this,
Right. And I guess as a parent, it'd be your job, to teach her your side of it.
Yeah.
And just like, your side. So she sees both sides.
Right.
Instead of being indoctrinated by the public education system.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're a teacher out there and you listen to this podcast.
I know there's teachers out there that aren't that way. I just, from what I've experienced just with my daughter, there is some degree of it in the schools. Because,
there is.
Because, she comes home and says something and I'm like, what? Is this what they're teaching you in school, So
my son is 12, and back when he was even 10 or 11, I have business hats for Patriot Defense, and they have 2 flags on them, and they're crossed, and then it's got an arm going through the flags. I'm sure if you're listening to the podcast, you've found me on Facebook and you've seen my logo, and in the hand is a guy holding a handgun, and it just says Patriot Defense. That's all it says. Mm-hmm. It's mostly, if you look at the logo, mostly what you see is the red, white, and blue, the flags.
Yeah.
So we went to a parent-teacher conference, and I mentioned something to the teacher. We hadn't had any issues, but I said, hey, I just gave Kodiak this hat. Can they wear hats? Yeah, they can wear hats. And then I explained to her what the hat was, and I kind of showed her the logo on my sweatshirt. And she goes, well, you probably better not wear that hat to school. And I'm like, it's a freaking stitched, embroidered picture.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So I've got my last daughter, she's in high school now. She's a sophomore. and I got her a sweatshirt for Christmas, and I think I'm going to tell her to and a hat. I want to tell her to wear it to school. I just want to see, I won't get her in trouble or anything like that. I want her to wear it to school and not flaunt it, but just wear it to school and see if anyone picks up on the logo and see what they say, because we're a small town here. We're in Idaho. It should be okay.
Yeah, it's still Idaho as far as I'm concerned.
But I'm curious. I want to challenge her to actually do that this week, and I'll report back. And maybe no one will say anything. Maybe someone will say something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah,
but
it'd be interesting to see. What happened there. You've got
to start them when they're young. And we kind of got on for a rabbit trail. We were talking about women and purchasing guns earlier.
Yeah.
But I think the women ladies and moms spend so much time with their kids that it all ties together. It's all a very important topic. So I decided to try something new, and I don't know if you saw them or not. I opened up a series of women's classes, and what it is I want to have a class in May, a class in June, and a class in July. And I'm going to keep it small. It's going to be a 3 to 4 hour class when we have them. And I want to keep it down to about 7 people. And I'm going to start. I don't actually have the PowerPoint. It's all in my head right now. I don't have it written on my computer yet. But the first class is going to be, we talk about safety and just basic gun shooting fundamentals. And we go out and we work on some stuff. It'll be kind of a faster paced class. And then each class is going to grow on each other as we go. So the second class, we're going to talk about like defensive mindset and some different things. And then we're going to learn, I'm going to have them bring the handguns that they carry, and I'm going to have them bring the holster that they use to carry it, whether maybe that's a bag carry or whatever. And I'm going to teach them each how to draw and fire from that holster and how to do so, and maybe get off the X type of thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the third class, and we might even do how to do some reloads. And then the third class, we will jump into just talking about everything that we've learned so far. And then I might actually set up some, I don't want to say scenarios, but I'm going to say scenarios out on the range of what would you do if you're holding your kid's hand and you have to shoot and fire. I might set up some little, those type of things.
Yeah.
Stuff that they can think about and they can shoot. And I may show them how to fire a firearm from a purse and some different, how to draw it and shoot it as you're backing away. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I think it's going to go over real well. I actually signed 7 women up in the first 30 minutes for the morning class. And I was only going to do one class.
That's a good response.
It is. So I opened up an afternoon class. And I filled it up the next day within a couple hours.
Wow.
So and I'm only charged $200 for 3 days. That's a steal, to be honest with you. $200 a person for all 3 classes.
Well, it's good to break it up, give, each month. And then...
Yeah. And what I'd like to do is I'm probably will do it in the afternoon class, just because I only have an hour break in between the 2 classes. But I want to pick one lady who takes the class, 1 or 2 even. And I've got these extra microphones laying around here. And I actually need to buy a couple more. But and just document on the podcast. Have them come in right after class. Give me an hour. Give me half hour. Sit down. Tell me what your thoughts were, what you learned, what you think could be improved on, and just kind of do that with the same person, the same couple ladies, every class. I think that would make for an awesome podcast and be some great insights.
Well, yeah, to get their perspective on things, definitely I think is very helpful for you as, training and teaching and stuff.
Right.
See where their mind is, where their, where their head's at, I guess.
Right. I just hope everyone shows up. My biggest fear, and I'm not digging on ladies at all, but I have all the time people, when you run a business, people try to tell you what to do, how to run your business. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I get ladies that want me to set up women's only classes. So I try. Yeah. I set them up. I have lots of ladies sign up, or one lady will say, I got my friends here. They're all their names. They want to do it. And then it all falls apart in the 11th hour.
Mm-hmm. Right before. Yeah.
Right before. And so I've never done this for my business. I've never made people pay ahead of time. So my original thoughts with this class was I was going to have them pay the $200 on first class. I'm actually thinking now I am going to get a hold of these women because I need to give them directions and, all their instructions and stuff. And I think I'm actually going to set up a PayPal account, and I'm going to make them pay before the class. I'm not going to do this in all my classes, but some of these special classes I am, because my time is money, is worth something, and
I think so.
I've been a pretty nice guy over the last so many years, and I'm just so nervous. I'm going to put all this time into developing all this, and then like 2 people are going to show up, which I'd still have a class for those 2 people, but I'm just afraid.
Yeah, you don't want it to fall through though.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's what I'm toying with. So I don't know. I hate not being. To me, if I were to sign up for a class, I would expect to pay ahead of time. Mm-hmm. But for me to ask someone else to pay ahead of time, it just kills me inside a little bit.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It just bothers me.
You don't want to sound greedy or anything. I get it though. I know why you're wanting to do it.
And so I'm like that guy that at the end of class, everyone pays typically on my basic permit classes, and I'll stand around and talk. And if they like forget to like pay or something, I can't ever make myself say anything.
You kind of just like keep walking that direction, like nudging them, like kind of.
Yeah. I've done some private classes where we just get to talking and we're having a great time, and I know that they haven't paid, and they drive off, and I'm like, I'm always thinking the best about people, and I'm thinking they'll call me back. And sure enough, they'll call me. Oh, I forgot to pay, and I'll say, yeah, we got to talking. It's not a big deal. And I'll swing by their house and pick it up a couple days later or whatever. It's always worked out. Well, it drives my wife crazy.
Do they don't get their certificate unless they pay?
Well,
right?
if it's a permit class, right. Yeah, they don't get their paperwork. If it's a private class, they just.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, there's not necessarily. I should make some certificates up or something.
That's not a bad idea.
But it just drives my wife crazy. She's like, okay, well, I'll put the money in the bank. I didn't get any money from him. What? You didn't what? I didn't get any money from him. Give me a couple days. I'll get it figured out.
Yeah, when you hear from the accountant, a.k.a. the wife.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it goes. So I went down to, and I know it wasn't your gun store, so don't be upset.
Oh, no, I'm not upset.
I went down to Brothers in Arms Firearms there in Filer. My 2 buddies run it, and they also, I had to give them some information because they also advertise my class, and they'll put it on their website is what they do. So I went down there to talk to him and put the data in their website and stuff, and I was kind of weighted in the back a little bit because they were trying to sell some firearm to some guys that were in there. And next time I hear my buddy say, "Hey Todd, do you have your Vp9?" He wants to take a look at the Vp9. So yeah, sure, that's my carry gun. So I went out and grabbed it. I didn't have it on me because I was in my running shorts and stuff. And I went out and grabbed it and brought it back in, and they were checking it out. Next thing I know, he's like, "And compare this to the Vp9 Sk." Well, what? Vp9 Sk? You got a Vp9 Sk?
Yeah.
I was trying to buy one of those like 2 years ago. And so I sat there and kind of handled it a little bit and looked at it. And it feels really good to me.
To me, there's one little finger groove on it that it just sits in the wrong spot on my hand.
I see. I like I wish the Vp9, the actual original Vp9, came with those finger grooves.
Yeah.
But it felt really good. And then I grabbed my carry gun and unloaded it, obviously, and I was comparing them, and you're not gaining much. No. You're gaining the finger grooves. Everything else is exactly the same. You're getting a shorter barrel by like an inch, I think.
Probably, yeah. It's pretty short.
The grip is almost the exact same size. So why would I buy? My buddy's like, "Well, you want to buy this, right?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think I do."
Yeah.
If I hadn't had the Vp9 first, possibly, but I don't need 2. They're essentially the same gun.
Yeah.
When you're concealing a firearm, it doesn't matter how long the barrel is, because that should be tucked in your pants, right?
Yeah.
It's the grip. And I didn't gain much with that grip. I did. So.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like that one, the one that I looked at was, looking at it, I expected it to fit really well just because I know the Vp9 does. But
right.
It's,
I love that gun.
When I finally got my hands on it, as soon as I gripped it, that one little groove just hit right on my ring finger.
See, it felt like it just locked into my hand. I absolutely loved it.
I don't know. Maybe my fingers are too fat or something. I got some sausages on my hands or something. But
I'm still holding out for the PD10.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be the first guy in town to have one of those. Everyone else, the joy is wore off as they're waiting for it to be released. I did poke around online, and I did not find anything that said it's going to be released anytime soon. Everything's like 3 months old. I'm like, are you kidding me? My freaking dream gun, and I'm never going to get my hands on it.
That SIG P365 release like it's hard to get, and we got one in,
Yeah.
and it didn't even make it to the counter. Like we brought it up to the counter to put it in the case, and this guy was standing there waiting for it. I mean, literally.
Kind of like when I was in there waiting for my turkeys the other day.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like he knew it was there, and he pounced on it right away. So
I'm going to keep an eye on that. And you guys said you aren't going to carry it, so I'll have to go buy it elsewhere.
yeah, I mean, unless there's some miracle happens, but they met with some people down at SHOT Show, but I don't know that
nothing happened, huh?
nothing happened there.
I don't know that anything can happen because they don't have any firearms to sell yet,
Yeah.
obviously. So, anyhow, we'll move on here. Last week, this is when you were here, right? We talked about, we had a listener. Actually, there's a guy up here, him and his wife, Robert Bolish and his wife. They've come. They're fans of the podcast. They listen. They listen every Sunday morning, which this one's going to be more like Monday morning time it gets out.
Well, holiday.
Oh yeah, we're doing it on the holiday instead of before the holiday. So, April Fools, right?
Right. Yeah, there you go.
But they listen to the show. They also have come up and taken some classes. I've been up taking the teachers classes with me. They their son. They sent the podcast link to their son, who's in New York at Fort Drum. He's with the Army. He's in the Army. It'd be Staff Sergeant James Bolish. He actually commented on one of our podcasts last week. We read it, and I don't have it in front of me, but we talked about how he enjoyed the podcast. He'd keep listening and keep up the good work type of thing. Got some sad news shortly after, a couple days after that. Actually, sad news, but it's good now. His dad posted and got a hold of me and posted on Facebook that they were doing some training stuff with some Humvees and some 50 cals. And I don't know exactly what they're doing. I'm not military. I don't know a lot of these terms or whatever they do. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, one of the 50 cals cooked off 4 rounds, and it went through the door. One of the rounds went through the door of the Humvee and hit him in the leg, his calf, and just pretty much just destroyed his entire calf. And so, obviously, he was in the hospital. It was touch and go for a little while on what they were going to do with this leg. I don't know this guy personally, but our prayers and thoughts are with you. I posted stuff up on Facebook during the week, and I know a lot of people, they said they were sending prayers your way.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bad, terrible thing.
Terrible thing to happen, yeah.
He's married, and it looks like he might have like 3 little kids, I think, if I looked at the pictures correctly.
Wow.
But tough guy. I think he said he's like 12 years in, and his dad said he was really close to actually achieving his dream. He wanted to go in and be a ranger.
Oh, nice.
And now that he lost his calf, so I don't know what's going to happen.
Rangers lead the way.
Yeah. So thanks for your service. But the good news is they were trying to decide what to do. And I asked his dad, I said, is he going to be like medically retired, or what's going to happen here? Mm-hmm. And he said that the prosthetics have come a long way, and they the guys come in to talk to the staff sergeant, and they were talking about prosthetics, and he said, I don't care which one you give me, just make sure it matches my uniform.
Yeah, there you go.
I still got to get out of here, and I got work to do. So
yeah.
Fantastic. We wish you the best. I know he was transferred to Walter Reed, where they decided to do a below the knee amputation.
Yeah.
They said that was how he was going to regain the most mobility, or hold on to the most.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
most mobility. So I've actually got pictures of the 50 cal round. I got pictures of all kinds of stuff, and I believe I'll double check again, but I have permission to post all that stuff. And so I'll make a little post on Facebook about it just to keep everyone updated. He's a fan. Thanks for listening. He's probably going to be too busy to listen for quite a while. We understand that. Recover. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. I've talked to his parents, told them if there's anything that I can do to help them, let me know. I know Robert's going to fly out and be with his son for a little while.
Oh, that's good.
And his son's wife is actually in the Army too. She's an Army medic, so he's in good hands.
Oh yeah, good hands.
Yeah, he's in good hands. So we send our prayers and wish you the best. So I got my ammo and I got my holster.
Here comes the Wi-Fi and the cup holder.
I didn't bring my firearms in the house in the holster. I was going to show you, but you know what? I figured out, and I will say. Let me preface this with, it looks like any other holster, which I figured pretty much.
Yeah.
But, it's pretty freaking comfy. And you know what? The secret, I'm not, if it feels comfortable in 2 weeks and I still enjoy it, then it was worth $200 for me. But I've got two things to say. It better feel comfortable. And I'm going to open the box here. This is my old holster. You don't need to see that.
Okay.
It better feel comfortable. But you know what? You want to know what cost me $200, I think? You want to see what the $200 bought me?
Yeah, let's see. Oh, the wedge.
It bought me a foam wedge. I ordered a keeper's concealment holster. I ordered the holster called the Keeper, and it's an appendix carry holster. And it actually is pretty cool, the idea behind it. And there's a pretty simple fix to, I think, at least in my mind, what was a problem when you carried appendix carry. So, appendix carry on a normal holster, for example, and no one can see this. I haven't fired up the camera yet. I do have one, though. I bought one for the podcast. It's not set up. It's right there.
Yeah, sitting right next to it.
But with an appendix carry holster, what happens is even if you don't have much of a belly, if you got a little bit of a belly, what happens is your belly will force that gun, push the butt of that gun out, and will force the barrel kind of into your groin a little bit.
Yeah.
And it hurts after a while, even if it's not on the boys.
Right. And
it's still down there, it hurts. And what this wedge does is you move this Velcro wedge up and down, this foam Velcro wedge up and down the back of this holster, and find the spot that works for you, and it actually kicks the barrel of it out and pushes the butt of the gun back into your belly.
Nice.
And so it actually doesn't sound like much, but it's amazing how different that feels. So I'm pretty stoked with the holster so far. I need to get out and practice my draws with it. I practice drawing off my hip. I haven't done a lot of appendix carry draws just because I'm lazy, and sometimes I don't practice what I preach, but I'm going to get better at that. But one disappointment, I spent $200 on this freaking holster, and it did come ahead of schedule, which is good. So I open it up, and it's a box within a box. Mm-hmm. And on the outside of the box that contained the holster, there's this great big, it's kind of cool looking, right?
Yeah.
It's Keeper's concealment sticker. It's stuck to this white
box.
On the box.
You don't get to put that on your refrigerator or anything else?
I don't get to put it anywhere. So I was opening the box expecting, I spent $200, man. I'll advertise for you. Drop a little sticker in there.
Yeah.
No sticker. Just the one attached to the box.
You put the sticker on the box.
On the box.
Well,
you could have taped it to the freaking box, and I could have taken it off and put it on the window of my truck. I could have put it on my gun safe. I could have stuck it to the door of the war room. I spent $200. I want a freaking sticker. That sticker can't cost more than $2.
And it doesn't come off of there, does it?
It doesn't come off.
Not without ripping the box.
I'm going to go ahead and cut the box and the sticker off. I'm going to use duct tape. I'm going to attach it to a window somewhere.
Yeah.
So my ammo that came in, same thing. Same exact. I bought 5,000 rounds. It was a good deal.
Yeah.
But I dropped some money over there. 5,000 rounds.
You don't even get a sticker?
There was a little sticker said Octane Munitions stuck to the outside of each box.
Yeah, okay.
I can't even cut it out along with the cardboard because they put it right over the seam of the cardboard.
No.
I'm like, you couldn't have just dropped a freaking sticker in there?
You know, I bought one hat from Amen 2 out of Idaho Falls.
Yeah.
And they sent me like 3 or 4 stickers.
Every piece of auto parts that I buy, I get a freaking sticker with it. Right. Are we that cheap in the firearms, the holster, the ammunition community that we can't drop a freaking sticker in there?
I don't know. I guess they pick where your sticker goes.
I guess so. That's a poor marketing choice right there, because this box with the sticker advertisement on it, guess what? It's going in the trash can here in a little while. So, whatever. Just something to throw out there. Keeper's concealment. Don't stick your sticker to the box, man. Put it inside the box.
Yeah.
I know what's in the box. I ordered the freaking holster. There better be a holster in there. I'm not going to open the brown box, look at the white box, and go, well, there's nothing in here, and toss it out. I know there's a freaking holster in there.
Yeah, I'm like a kid with a cereal box. You know, you get the little prize inside the box, not on the box.
Exactly. The same way with you, Octane Munitions. Give me a freaking sticker. I can look at the tag. It says it's from Octane Munition. Did you order anything from Octane Munitions? I don't know what's in there. Oh, look, there's a sticker on it. It says there's Octane Munitions in there. Must be my 9mm ammo. I'm good to go. take the sticker, put it in with the ammo.
Yeah.
So I can take it off and stick it on my freaking window. That one couldn't cost more than 40 cents. It's like that big.
Like a quarter size?
I don't know why they stuck it to the freaking box.
Yeah, that's a little
I
weird.
like stickers.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're just a kid at heart, so
I'm a
all
kid-
kids like stickers.
So that's my big rant today is I'm going to spend lots of freaking money with you. You send me a damn sticker.
Yeah.
Pisses me off. So, anyhow, I'm looking at our list here. I make these fancy lists, and they look pretty nice, don't they?
Yeah, it's like, this one's a little more detailed than the last one.
I had a lot to talk about. We've been putting up a lot of 1,000-round submissions. I'm doing my 1,000-round deal where I like people to go out and shoot, and then they post pictures, and then I'll take them and I'll put them on my Facebook page. Are you on Facebook much at all?
I am, and I actually told you the other day.
You aren't getting.
I'm thinking about getting off of Facebook.
Oh, you have to stay on for the podcast.
I'm gonna delete a lot of things.
Just
because I'm getting frustrated and upset with some stuff. So
yeah, just get rid of what you don't like to see. So anyhow, people have been sending me pictures of them going out and shooting and explaining kind of the drills they're running, and I appreciate that. I've been reposting those. It excites me to see that. It actually, I'm hoping it encourages anyone that looks at the page, which I think it does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also, it's encouraging me. I do get busy. I have a range right outside my house, but I do get busy, and I don't, the lawn always needs mowed. The kids always need picked up from track practice. And, but I was thinking, I come home from work and then I go to run, but I come home from work, I'm home for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I could run inside, I could eat, I could still have plenty of time to go out, walk across the yard, and I could probably put down a couple 100 rounds easy.
Yeah.
And so this encourages me too. And so I want people to keep doing that. I'm not keeping track of the rounds you shoot. It's just to encourage everyone. So send me a picture, throw down how many rounds it is, throw down what you did, the drills, what you learned maybe, the distance you shot at, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll repost them up. I'm just enjoying seeing it all. So if you pop on Facebook, Patriot Defense, Mark, you will see them.
I see that stuff.
Okay.
I don't mind seeing that stuff.
That's the important. That's the important stuff. So I was looking on Libsyn, the program that we use to download all this podcast stuff, and it disperses it to where they need to go.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in Canada now.
Canada, eh?
Canada, eh? Hoser. So we are in Canada now, so that's fantastic. I still haven't made Australia. I want to see Australia turn white. That means that we've got one listener in Australia.
Yeah.
I'm looking for Australia. So I've talked to a few people out there. You know who you are. That they have friends in Australia. You get your buddies in Australia to download this. I want to see Australia light up. So, do you know anyone in foreign countries?
Well, we had some exchange students when I was growing up, but that's been a long time ago, and I don't keep track of them anymore. So
okay. Well, this other guy said he's got someone, he knows people in Australia, he also knows people in Korea. I asked him in North Korea, and he said probably not North Korea.
Probably not North Korea, yeah.
But anyhow, just to keep you up, have you caught up on the podcast at all? I know they were crap for a while. And they got better.
I did a couple episodes, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to rehash this for everybody, and I'm going to leave. We're in Mexico. We're in the United States, obviously. We're in Canada. We're in Japan. We are in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
We are in United Kingdom, and we are in Sweden.
Sweden. Nice.
Yeah, I know. So I'm looking for more of those foreign countries. We are, we are, yeah.
Going global.
Global. That's the word I'm looking for. We're going global. Patriot Defense is going global.
Well, cool.
So we're excited about that. But I did receive, I enjoy this because as it grows, there's people that I don't know that get a hold of me. That say, hey, I listened to your show. I listened to this. They text me, which is fine because I put my number out there.
Yeah.
They message me on Facebook. They comment on things. They call our podcast hotline. And I've heard from a lot of people this week. I've heard from, and I don't know how to say some of these last names, but I was getting ready to go to bed the other night, and I got this long text message from this guy that he actually lives in Utah now, but he's from Alaska. His name's Payton. He text messaged me, said he listens to the show, said he's got family up in Alaska, and he says by the time he's done with them, I'm going to have like 10 or 11 new listeners up there.
Nice.
Which is awesome. So he's been texting me off and on all week. Funny thing, he was down for work. He lives up in St. George, and he was down in the Jerome Wendell area doing some work. And I don't know how he found the podcast, but he found it and started listening to it on the way home and realized he was just down here by where we do it. He actually might come down and do some shooting with us.
Great.
We might have
Awesome.
to get like a Patriot Defense, not a class, it's like a Patriot
A
Defense
team.
shoot. You, me, and Dean, and whatever listeners wanted to travel across the United States to come down here and shoot with us. That'd be fun.
Yeah, join the team.
Patriot Defense. That's a new sticker in the making.
There you
Patriot
go.
Defense Team. So there's Phillip Madrigal. He downloads. He listens. I think he's from like Jerome area, so he got a hold of me. And then Justin Davis out of North Carolina got a hold of me.
Nice.
Sent me a message. He listens all the time, so I think it's fantastic. I've been asking these people, how do you find the Patriot Defense podcast? And this is really cool. They go on Spotify, because we're on Spotify and we're on iTunes, but they go on Spotify. They get tired of music. They type in gun control, concealed carry, guns. Patriot Defense pops up.
Nice.
So that tells me, I don't know how Spotify works, but we're high enough up in the rankings, it just pops up.
Yeah, I use iTunes, so I don't know how Spotify works.
I don't either. So, but awesome. Thanks for listening, guys. My good buddy Norm Hatke, I was thinking he comes and he helps me. He helps me with my classes every now and then. He works in Twin. He's a friend of mine. And yesterday, whenever I mentioned the podcast, he goes, I know you don't think I listen, but I do listen. And so he does listen. So I'm going to mention his name on the podcast. He does listen. And then there's Phillip Stute, I think is how you say his name. And he actually, I haven't posted this up yet, but was talking with him this morning. And he sent me a 1,000-round. I'm going to call it. He says it wasn't, but I'm going to call it a 1,000-round submission. And he actually drew 2 bullseyes, and one was yes, one was no. And then above it, he did this yesterday. Above it said, "Will you marry me?" And his girlfriend shot the yes bullseye. So congratulations, he's getting married now. And if you're a shooter, what a cool way to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'll post that. I'll post that up. And he was asking me. We were talking about ammo and where to get it. So he's gonna load everyone up on ammo so they can get started on their 1,000 rounds.
Wonder if they're gonna have a shotgun wedding.
Yeah, you have a shot. Yeah, you're gonna have a shotgun wedding, Phillip. We want pictures of the wedding if you do. Well, we would like to see pictures of the wedding anyhow. So, congratulations to him and his fiance.
Yeah.
So we have got a call, and I'm not gonna play it on the air because it didn't play complete last time. Something was wrong with it. But I played it earlier, and then I can cut all this out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will replay it. So go ahead. And it was a question. It was called in by Phillip Stute. He had a question, and he wanted to talk to you about it.
Hey, guys, just want to say I caught up on all your podcasts, listened to them all, and caught up now. But I had a question for you guys to discuss. It's about the age of when you can buy a rifle versus pistol, stuff like that. In the society we have, 18 is considered an adult. You can move out on your own, get stuff in your own name. You're legally an adult when you're 18. But you can't buy a pistol till you're 21. You can't drink till you're 21. But you can smoke tobacco, you can go to war, you can be your own man when you're 18. So I kind of want to hear your guys' opinion and discussion on, should we have one age for everything? When either you turn 18, you're a man, you're an adult, everything happens to you then, you can drink, buy tobacco, so on and so forth, buy guns. Or should we say, no, you have to wait till you're 21 to be an adult, be independent, buy, any type of firearm, buy tobacco, alcohol, stuff like that. Because there's a 3-year difference between tobacco and alcohol, rifles and handguns, and the list can go on. But I'd like to hear your guys' opinion on that for your next podcast. Thank you. Have a good one.
And go ahead and give us your thoughts on it.
So, about the age of the rifle purchases versus the handgun purchases, being an adult, I'm a little mixed on it. to be honest with you. I think, yes, at 18, you're considered an adult. You're allowed to vote. You're allowed to join the military. You have to file for the draft, and you have to put in your draft information at 18. Yes, I believe that someone should be able to buy a rifle at that point. I think that the handgun, me personally, when I was 18, I wasn't the most mature, and rifle could, I don't know. I think a lot of it is how you're raised, unfortunately. But just going off of age, that's a difficult one. You can't discriminate on age and workplace, as far as employment. So I don't know if they're discriminating on the age as much. Firearms are definitely, and they definitely, you have to be safe with them, and maturity definitely plays into that, I think.
It's a tricky one to answer.
It is a
really.
tricky one, yeah.
So we were talking about this before the show started, and you have there's a couple different thoughts here. I mean, I don't know what it's like in his state, in Phillip state, but like in Idaho now, you can conceal carry in the state of Idaho, as long as you get the right permit. You can conceal carry a handgun at the age of 18. But federal law says you can't purchase a handgun at the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can be gifted one and carry it, but you can't legally purchase one. You can purchase a rifle, you can purchase a shotgun, but you can't purchase a handgun until you're 21.
Yeah.
So that's kind of weird. That's kind of backwards thinking a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to war. Okay, you can do all this stuff at 18, but you can't buy a handgun, but you can buy a rifle, you can buy a shotgun. I've seen a lot of I understand that you're considered an adult at 18.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot, I've seen a lot of 18-year-olds that weren't ready for that responsibility. But then again, I've seen a lot of, adults older than 21. I've seen a lot of adults older than 30 that weren't ready for the responsibility of a firearm.
Yeah, that's true.
Aren't responsible at
right.
all. So what I think this probably isn't the answer he's looking for, but I see what he's getting at. Because he feels,
Mm-hmm.
according to the question that we just listened to, that we played, he feels that you're 18, you're your own man. You should be able to buy alcohol. You should be able to buy cigarettes. If you can go to war, you should be good to go at 18.
Right.
And I understand that, but it's a hard one to answer. I kind of feel the same way he does, and we need to say it's not necessarily the age, it's the person.
Yeah.
It's the person. It's the bad guy behind the tool that does the bad things. Not
right.
I'm not saying all 18-year-olds are bad. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
This is the thing I look at is to get car insurance. They don't look at the individual person; they look at the group of people.
Right.
And you get dinged on your insurance just because you're an 18-year-old boy,
a male. Yeah.
Driving a 4-wheel drive or whatever. That just makes it worse. I don't know. I mean, they judge you based on your, the certain genre of people, I guess. I don't know if genre is the right word, but your age and your
certain group.
Yeah, your group of people is what you're judged on for car insurance. So to if you were judged individually on your car insurance, there's a lot of people that would have really high car insurance and people that would have really low, because just based on their
right. But at least they would have some way to judge individuals on car insurance. How
Right.
would they judge an 18-year-old on whether or not he could? That, I mean, you're getting into that's big time lawsuits right there. So you're going to have to just overall do it's either 21 or 18, and that's kind of what they've. I see why they did it, but it makes no sense.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pull rights from 18-year-olds and say they can't have a rifle or a shotgun.
Right.
But if they can have a rifle or a shotgun, why can't an 18-year-old buy a handgun if he can be gifted a handgun?
Right.
Well, that's backwards
Well,
logic. He's
and
going to have it anyway.
Another thing I look at is here in Idaho, when I turned 18, I wasn't out to, go people hunting or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
That's not a good thing to say, but at 18, farm kid, growing up in southern Idaho, we're going out shooting rock chucks. We're going out shooting, pheasant hunting.
Right.
I remember I'm not terribly old, but it wasn't a big deal to have your shotgun in the back window of your truck and in high school. And
right.
Nobody said anything about it because we were going to go pheasant hunting after school. So, but this is Idaho, I understand maybe higher population areas, maybe that's not such a big thing. You don't have pheasant hunting.
Well, I see what you're getting at.
It's,
so different.
It's hard to say.
If you grow up in the city and you're not used to firearms, maybe you don't know that firearm safety. You haven't grown up with it. You don't know how to handle them. You don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do that. But I don't know.
I kind of, I know it's the United States of America.
Yeah.
And I think that the states should set their own regulations.
So you think it should be like a states' rights?
I think so. Really do.
States are already getting to do that a little bit not with firearms necessarily, but they're already bucking federal law, and they're saying, we're going to allow, marijuana and whatever.
Right.
And I don't want to get into that debate. I'm sure I'll go down a road that no one expects me to go down on that if we start talking about it. But I don't know. I guess if it boils down to, you can look at it all different ways. I guess I'm going to say that if you can be gifted a handgun when you're 18, in my mind, you might as well be able to go buy one.
Yeah.
You're going to, if your parents can buy you one and gift it to you for Christmas, and in the state of Idaho, they can buy you one, gift it to you for Christmas, gift it to you for your birthday, and then you can go out and get a permit.
Yeah.
And then you can holster it up and carry it concealed in the state of Idaho at 18 years old.
Right. Especially with a permit.
Just let them go buy one.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you what's happening is essentially they are buying. I guarantee. And you tell me, you don't have to get into it if you don't want to, but how many times do you think a kid goes in, they look around, they find a firearm that they want, a handgun that they want, that they look at, that they've shot before. They want one, so they go and they save their pennies, and then they give their dad or their mom their money, and then their mom and dad goes in and they purchase that firearm and then gift it to them. How many times do you think that happens?
It happens all the time. In fact, I did it. I mowed lawns, saved up my money, bought my first shotgun. I didn't buy it. I gave the money to my dad. He bought it for me.
And that was when you were under 18.
Yeah.
So, if an 18-year-old were to come into that store and they said, "Hey, look, I want to see that Smith & Wesson M&P 9. Can I know I'm 18? Are you allowed to get it out and let them handle it?"
I can get it out. I can give it to their parents,
and
their parents can hand it to them, but I cannot hand that to them. So, which doesn't make any sense to me.
That's the same way of
it's
the parents can buy the gun.
I might as well just hand it to them.
The parents can buy the gun and give it to the kids, but you can't.
Right.
So what about, this is a question, and then I know Idaho law, I don't know all the law, but what about, maybe you know the answer to this. What about a private sale? Could an 18-year-old go buy a gun from his uncle?
Probably.
Is that legal? But
no.
Is it? They
I don't
can.
know.
Is that legal though?
Legally, technically, probably not. But private sale. Unless you're actually running a background check person on them,
right?
All you need is a bill of sale, pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
I'm going to come out and this all boils down. My thoughts are 18 years old, you can buy a rifle, you can buy a shotgun, you can sign up for the military, they can hand you a rifle, they can hand you a freaking handgun.
Yeah, they'll hand you a handgun, yeah.
And they can send you into the field to do whatever, into war, into battle. I think you should be able to buy one. Now, it would be really cool, and I don't know what the difference is necessarily, I guess, but if they could I'm not even going to go down that road because that's putting another stipulation on it. The problem I see is the 18-year-olds that are still in high school.
Yeah.
Granted, you still can't carry a firearm onto the
Right.
property.
And that's the thing is today, I hate to say this, but today is different than it used to be, as far as when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I can understand why people are concerned about 18-year-olds in high school still having firearms.
But they have a shotgun and a rifle.
Yeah.
So
here in Idaho and Wyoming, Montana, these rural states that are just, we grew up like this. I mean, that's why I think the states should set the age limits if they are
right.
And because, Idaho is different than Maryland or,
right.
some very populated state, I just, it's hard to say.
Thanks, Phillip, for giving this question that we're so torn on and we don't have an answer for. I think I know what my answer is, and that's if you're 18, and I think it's stupid. If you're 18 and you can buy a rifle, you can buy a shotgun. I think you might as well buy a handgun anyhow, because if you really want one, there's ways to get it. Your parents can gift it to you. You can give the money to your...
Yeah, there's always a way to get it.
There's always a way to get it.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, I think we need to concentrate more on the mental illness aspect of it. And we need to concentrate more after the latest shootings. I think we need to concentrate more on the breakdown in law enforcement, the breakdown in the FBI, and concentrate and figure out why the laws that we already have on the books aren't being enforced, and why this guy over here sees this on the internet and they can't get it to the right office, why we have officers not going into the school during a shooting,
right?
Why law enforcement can visit your house 39 times and yet you're still able to purchase a firearm.
Yeah, and I know that somebody was saying that 38 states they're not submitting like 80% of the felony charges or something like that. There's stuff being missed that's not being submitted to the FBI.
Right.
So
that system needs fixed.
Yeah, there's
that
definitely
is the problem.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to focus on more than anything, and do away with some of these other laws, I think. But anyhow, I hope that's a good enough answer for you, Phillip. And I value your opinion. I'd like to get Dean's opinion as well. And so Dean should be back next weekend, and we'll throw this question out there to Dean, and we'll see what Dean's thoughts on the matter are. So I'm sure they'll be very comical because Dean likes to have fun.
My opinion is weird. I don't know.
No, we all have our opinions. You see stuff that I don't. You work behind a gun counter.
Yeah, but I do agree with you to some extent, and
right.
Then there's other things that it's a maturity level. That's what it boils down to. I mean,
it is. I mean, it really is. But like I said, if you're 18, you can only do this. You might as well be able to do that because you're 90% there anyhow.
Yeah.
I mean, and handguns, no.
It didn't stop me from drinking alcohol.
Well, yeah. And a handgun's no more dangerous than a rifle.
Yeah.
And you're saying they can be responsible with a rifle or a shotgun, but not a handgun? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Makes absolutely no sense to me. So, we do have. Let's see. I'm going to look this up for just a minute here. We have one more call. We had a couple call-ins. I'm going to play one more, and I'm going to save the next one for the next episode. But I have to look it up here. And
hi, this is Paul from Kimberly, calling to see how you guys feel about rhinestones on your holsters. I'm thinking they look pretty sweet. But really, looking for a short-term solution to left-handed carry without spending a bunch of money. Thanks.
Okay, I called you Dean. That's Paul, actually. And Paul, that was an inside joke, the rhinestone and the holster thing, a little backstory. His wife is, she's fun. And she's, it's fun to go back and forth with her comment-wise.
Uh-huh.
She's pretty quick-witted and can be very sarcastic, she's sharp. And we'll just leave it at that. Paul, you can tell Desiree, I talked about her on the podcast. But she took a class with me, and both him and his wife. And we were in there, and I was talking about holsters for women and about how sometimes they need to dress different if you want to carry a firearm sometimes. And I talked about how women, sometimes, their belts have like rhinestones and stuff on them. And she goes, I freaking hate rhinestones. So I got nothing but every now and then for a while, I got nothing but stupid rhinestone jokes.
Yeah.
All the time. And occasionally I'll get them. So now and then, and obviously that was another one. I haven't heard one for about 4 months now. So I guess I was needing to hear another rhinestone. So Paul, what you do at home in your bedroom is between you and your wife. And if you want to put rhinestones on your holster, dude, I'm all for that. I know Desiree likes rhinestones. You might make her one of those up too. But no, Paul is actually the guy that's going in for shoulder surgery.
Oh,
and he's been submitting stuff for the 1,000 rounds, and he's right-handed, and he's got to get his right shoulder worked on. So he was going to go out and do the dot. You ever heard of the dot torture test?
Yeah.
Remember, I talked about it in the last podcast. He went out and he was doing it all with his left hand instead. And so he messaged me and asked this question as well about left-handed, what he could do for a left-handed holster. And I thought some more. And really, there's nothing you can do. You're just going to have to buy another holster.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, you can go the cheap route. You can go the Uncle Mike's route.
Blackrock, yeah.
But I don't know. You don't want to go super cheap because you are dealing with your left hand and you're not used to using it. And you don't want stuff to slip and drop stuff. And so I just pretty much told him, you're just going to have to
wing it.
Yeah, wing. He's gonna be winged for sure.
Yeah, winged for sure.
Yeah, I just said you're just gonna have to go buy a holster. I don't know what other options he has really. I mean,
for temporarily, especially, yeah, you don't want to go cheap, but in a sense, you kind of do because you're not going to be carrying left-handed, for very long.
Right.
So, I mean, unless you have an ambi holster that you can switch the clip or something on it, but
he might need one he can wear on his bra. Never mind. No. Yeah, you're just going to have to go pony up the money for a holster. Yeah. I think it's awesome, though. He's learning to shoot left-handed.
Yeah.
Something that I think everybody should work on.
Work on it.
There was a gal that was took the range day class yesterday, and she hadn't shot for years, and she used to like to go and shoot a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And she was left-handed, and she got in an accident. Someone was texting and driving. She got in an accident and actually ripped her thumb, pulled it all the way back, and just stripped everything out of her arm.
Oh, wow.
And so she has no grip strength with her left hand anymore, and that was her dominant hand. And so we worked with her. Norm worked with her actually yesterday shooting with her right hand. And she hadn't shot a gun in like 6 years or something. And she didn't want to, but we didn't force her, but we talked her into it. She started shooting with her right hand and decided that she loved it. And so hopefully she's going to pick it back up again and start shooting again. But so she had to make do, and she's relearning, and it's something everyone should do. It's learn how to shoot with your right hand, learn how to shoot with your left hand. I tell everyone, and learn how to shoot one-handed.
Yeah.
I tell everyone it's called a handgun, not a hands gun.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called a handgun. So learn those skills.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I've been going out, and whenever I go shooting, I'll shoot with my weak hand a little bit, and it's entertaining to see what happens. But I'm getting better with it. So
I suck. I try, and I'm just like,
no good. So.
I get frustrated.
Well, I think that we should probably take the rest of the day off, and we can call this podcast done. And not that anyone cares, but I am going to possibly get this. I'm not gonna. It's too nice outside to sit inside and edit right now, so I'm gonna try to edit it tonight and maybe get it out later on tonight. And so it'll be ready for everyone on Monday, I hope. I'm going to have to do some creative editing and get a lot of these calls in there because I know I'm still working on this, people.
Yeah.
We're trying this new system to try to make the audio sound better, and Todd's editing skills suck. I mean, I'll work on something for like an hour trying to get it just right and still not figure it out.
Yeah, I just want to apologize in advance for my senseless babbling when I was just going
you're fine. They'd rather listen... You did fine, but they'd rather listen to that than me just talking into the mic while I'm staring at my "Don't Tread on Me" flag. Sometimes it gets a little passionate, and anyhow,
passionate.
I get a little passionate, but we don't want to listen to that. So I tell you what, I appreciated all the call-ins that we got. I know we didn't get to all of them, and I will play the rest on the next show. And I'll replay that question again. So if you guys have any more call-ins, don't forget the podcast hotline. It's 1-208-696-4397. That's 1-208-696-4397. You can call in and say, hey, I'm so-and-so and this is where I live. Thanks for the show. Whatever. I don't care. You can call in a question. We've had some good questions. You can call in a self-defense scenario. That'd be awesome.
Let us know where you're from, though, for sure.
Yeah, let us. And when you call in, let me know your name and where you're calling from, and then give me your question or give me your story or shout out or whatever. Just kind of so I have, and I'll get better at these. I've got it. This is new technology.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah, new technology. Yeah, new technology for me. You can email me at patriotdefense13@yahoo.com. That's patriotdefense13@yahoo.com. With questions or anything like that. And because I've had some people text me, I'm good with it. So here's my cell number. My cell number is area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. You can find Patriot Defense on Instagram. You can find Patriot Defense on Facebook. And go ahead and like the page and comment away. I'm always posting pictures. Get me your 1,000-round submission pictures, and I'll keep posting those up as well. Until then, everybody, have a great week, and go sling some lead downrange if you get a chance, and hopefully we will be back on schedule for this coming weekend. Thank you, Mark, for sitting in today. You're welcome anytime.
Happy Easter.
What'd you say?
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, that's right.